We are live at Tuesday at 7, and I'm just going to adjust this camera for just a moment. We are here with Josh, and we're going to give folks a few minutes to sign on, and I'm coming right around. I appreciate you joining us.
I appreciate you having me. Yeah, I tried to make it out here as quickly as I could. So I came directly from work. So, about an hour away, but not terribly bad.
Yeah, so it's not exactly Tuesday at 7. It's like Tuesday at 7, 10, 7:10 or what, I don't know.
Is it 7:30?
But we appreciate you guys jumping in. 7:21.
7:21, not bad.
Yeah. Thank you guys for sticking with us. If you've not joined us before, we are a creative channel. We meet every Tuesday at 7 or close to 7. But listen, we break the rules all the time. We have sometimes Wednesdays at 8 and Fridays at 6. So we're here to break the rules, but for the most part, we're here. We gather digitally every Tuesday, and we're here with Josh. You may remember. Well, let's date step this first, because people will be looking back many years from now. So it is June 2026, and Josh and I have known each other for many years. We're going to talk about that, but several months ago we gathered and we did an open mic.
Yes, that was a lot of fun. I'd never done an open mic in a basement before. Just like somebody's private residence. Like, I've played some small rooms, but that was fun though. It was warm. Everybody was really encouraging. It was a good time. I would definitely like to do something like that again. Yeah, for certain.
So what we did is we just kind of put a call out for open mic, and Josh and Michael Callahan and we had so many people. Show You Righteousness. We had Craig. I jumped in a bit. Matt Chase. And so great. I'm sure that I'm forgetting somebody, and shame on me. Craig Lau as well. But anyways, what we did is we gathered and we stepped up, and we some of us sang, some of us did poetry, and you did some stand-up, which was unexpected and engaging.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I try to write it so that it is engaging. We'll get more into that later. Yeah. Like, I'd be happy to break down my writing process, because it can be a complicated thing. But for the most part, though, it was a lot of fun. I love. Okay, so when I started doing stand up, I started doing stand up at like just dive bar open mics, right? Yeah. Anybody's going to be there. Yeah. Multidiscipline. Mostly people with guitars, though. Mostly just like musicians, guitarists specifically. And for like the first year and a half that I was doing it, I was the only comedian in the entire town that I knew of. And it wasn't until I started doing an open mic about a year and a half in, at another part of town in Barberton at the time. I just recently moved out of there, but I spent about 10 years living there. So a lot of people knew me. And they were happy for me, and they were very supportive. Yeah, a very supportive community. I really like Barberton. I still work there, actually. So I finally met another stand-up comedian who did not know that it was open mic. He just so happened to show up there that night, and I was just like, I'm about to go up for open mic. He's just like, there's an open mic? I'm like, yeah, sign up, man. So that he ended up opening up for me, because one of the worst things you can deal with as a comedian is a cold room. And like, so those open mics were, it would be musician, and then this asshole just like talking for 15 minutes and then back to the music. It's like, so it's nice to have like at least one other comedian to like kind of soften the blow for you, get everybody warmed up. And Dave Duggins is his name. That guy's a very funny guy. He's been too busy. I haven't been able to drag him out to actually like do anything with us lately, because doing stand-up comedy in Northeast Ohio, you got to have a day job, man.
Well, stick with us, because we're going to go into the comedy. Later on. But you know what? Before we do that, I actually looked up. I was just like, what is the role of a comedian? And I was just like,
sure,
check it out. And it said the core role of a comedian is to connect with audiences. Provoke thought through humor, wit, and keen observation.
Yes.
I love that.
A lot of people think that comedy has to be like, you have to be offending somebody, or you have to have like a hot take or something like that. And for me, I mean, once again, we'll get more into this later.
Yeah.
For me, it's more or less just like trying to communicate my worldview in a funny way.
Yeah.
Like, look through my lens, ain't it funny? You know? Like,
yeah. And we're going to explore that. So hang with us, because I think the art of comedy, I think connecting with audiences and challenging people to think differently is an art form, certainly.
Yes.
But that's not where we met. But before we get into there, okay, Tuesday at 7, what we do is the magic behind our community is the shares. And we encourage people to share, because if you share, the data shows it goes out to another 100 people. So we get 10 shares, it goes out to 1,000 people. We get 20 shares, it goes to 2,000. And that's the magic behind our community, is to point light on the guests that are here. If you were with us last week, we drove down to Shelby, which is about an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
And Matt Seal and Kate is down there. He just opened up Alchemy and Ink, which is it's certainly a tattoo shop.
Nice.
But he also, I mean, Matt Seal is a great artist, great special effects.
Yeah,
and that place is something special. But there was like, I don't know, 5,500 people who watched the interview.
Oh, wow.
You know, and so to put that in perspective, the Cleveland Agora sells out at 2,000 people. So 2,000 people is packed. So,
for sure. I know what a 5,000 person crowd looks like, and we'll get into that later.
and so the magic is that 5,500 people, you know, digitally walk through the doors of Alchemy and Ink. And if you shared last week, your name is in this hat, and Matt was offering $150 worth of ink and a customized T-shirt. So you want to go ahead and pick the winner?
Sure. Who's the lucky one?
Who's the lucky one?
Let's find out. Rich Yarber.
Rich Yarber.
There's a familiar name.
Oh my gosh, Rich. I don't know, Rich, I don't know if you've got ink, but if you don't, now's your time to start. And you can always pass this on to somebody else. But Rich has been a friend and an artist and a great, I mean, he does a midnight movie now, right? And he and the three of us, our origin, we all had origins into the hunt business, right? And it has served some great purposes.
Yes.
Thank you, Rich, for sharing. Thank you to Matt, Alchemy Inc., and to Kate for the generous donation. And we want to encourage folks to share right off the bat.
Please do.
Yeah. In the very bottom left-hand side of your screen, there's an arrow. When you press that arrow, Facebook will prompt you as to what to do next. When you press that button, we encourage you to share it to your friends list. But if you want to share it multiple times, and we'll put your name into the drawing multiple times, you can share it to a Facebook group, to an individual, or to your group. And that's the magic behind what we do. If they share and they win, what are you offering?
Okay, so I was thinking about offering a signed copy of the movie that my friends and I made called Cagey, but I only have the one copy. But it will be available for rent and for sale at Killer Videos soon, thus the shirt.
All right.
If you haven't checked those guys out in Akron, you absolutely should. They're awesome.
There's something about a video store, right?
Yeah, it's a 501c3 nonprofit organization. They're running off of grants from the city for the most part and membership fees. For as little as $10 a month, you can actually go get the video rental experience again. Yeah, it's a very, very cool place. Jonathan's a very cool guy. Mitch is a very cool guy. And they are just like, they're working their butts off. They're about to expand. So like the small collection that you see is only like maybe a third of what they have. They just got approved the expansion in the building. And that's the last I just wanted to give them a big shout out because they're really cool people. I'm not even one of them. I'm just a member and I just think they're really cool. So anyhow, what we have to give away, a little bit different, a little bit weird. I decided I was going to give away my copy of The Present Age on the Death of Rebellion by Soren Kierkegaard. Basically what this is in 1846, tracked in the present age, Soren Kierkegaard analyzes the philosophical implications of society dominated by mass media, a society eerily similar to our own. Prescient simplicity. The present age is...
Yeah, absolutely love the fact that of that giveaway, but you've read that book, right?
Yes, I have.
And is that part of your inspiration behind what we do or what you
A lot
do?
of it, yeah. I've always had like very anti-authoritarian that you say and take it wildly out of context, or somebody can dig up something about you from many, many years ago or whatever, and just you know, you're a completely different person at that point. You know, it can happen to anybody, and I feel like that is rude, and that people should maybe kind of stop always trying to tear other people down, and kind of realize that a lot of the reason why people want to do that all the time is because they're told to by the media. The media considers it a form of engagement when they do that. And also it means that their message is working. Mm. So I think it's important to just kind of maybe not do anything about these things, but keep them in mind, you know, as we go about our daily lives, you know, like be more mindful of the way that you express yourself and like really get a point across. And also just be aware of the mechanisms that are working on you in the background. You know, like I feel like we think about them enough. We don't really think about the why and the how can we not, you know, but yeah, no, just a little missive, a little something to think about, a little something to like, you know, maybe take out in the woods by a creek and have a little thought provoking session with yourself, you know,
and digest it. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
The origin, we talked about Richie Arbor.
Moment face to face, that really reinforced a lot of the technique that I have going forward into other arenas now. I
want to step back for a moment.
Sure.
So for those that may not be connected into, let's call it, I don't understand what that means.
Yeah. Okay. So I always like to describe it as the haunted attraction industry, because that gives more of puts it in a more digestible frame for them. So basically the thing was, we would call it like a horror improv acting is basically what we would call it, where we would come up with our own character, and then we would get our own room assignment, or we would go and roam around depending on your level of expertise and how much they like you. And it was our job to engage and terrify. And in my case, I always like to be a little bit subversive, a little bit perverted, a little bit. You should fear for your soul. You should. But I really enjoyed doing. Like my favorite reactions were always, what the fuck is that? It wasn't, oh, that's spooky, or, oh, I'm going to puke, or like, you know, or just, it was always like when somebody's brain couldn't figure out what the fuck I was doing. Like, you know?
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's like something that just refuses to come into focus, but you know, it's terrifying, you know, like.
And there was something to, engage with an audience, right? Get those reactions, right? Mm-hmm. Because you don't get those reactions from standing up on stage, right, in traditional theater. You got those reactions from breaking the fourth wall and improvising
coming out at them from where they're never going to expect it from. Yeah. And I still do that to this day. I mean, I had to retire after 23 years in the industry. I found out that I have a heart condition, which makes it so that it's not really conducive for me to be in that environment anymore, because, you know, I get the wrong start, I got to go to the hospital. So, but, you know, lemons into lemonade, after spending 23 years doing this sort of thing, in a large enough pool, because let's see, I worked Bloodview, and then for 16 years I was with that organization. I ran the acting department for 2 years, and then after that I moved on to help Ghoul Brothers open, run by Dave Barton. I went over there with Joe Gall. There's my first name drop of the night.
Yeah, Joe Gall.
There's going to be a whole bunch of those, and Dave set up, and Joe set up his makeup department. I set up the acting department, and I helped them run that for about 3 years. And then it had kind of run its course with me. So I decided to move on. And the second that I did, Katie Lane, boom, there's another one, called me, and she hit me up and she said, hey, come over here to Akron Haunted Schoolhouse and Lab. And I was there the next day. And so I acted there for 2 years, and I went in there and I told him immediately, I was like, I am not interested in management of any sort. Please don't even think of me.
Don't even ask me.
and just for the record, if you want a management position, that's the attitude you should have, because 2 years later, when Katie decided that it was time for her to part ways, I was the first person that they asked to take over. And they kind of tricked me into it. They said I would be the acting coordinator and not actually in charge of the whole thing.
Oh.
But then, when it was actually, time to open, it was like, oh, the whole thing's, it's me. It's all both at the lab and the schoolhouse, both over 100 actors, over 8 floors. Okay, great. I can't wait. But, I'm really glad that I did that.
Yeah,
I mean, that was like probably the biggest feather in my cap was I got to do that. And that's where I went out on the top of my game. That's where I found out that I have the heart condition. Yeah. I mean, it could be really, really stressful though. So if that's something that you're after, like really, you need to have good coping mechanisms. You really, really got to be able to keep your head on straight because you're going to be dealing with all sorts of problems that you never imagined. And you really, you kind of get to peel back and see what's under the hood of like, customers can be dangerous and violent and mean. You have to be the one to deal with those things.
And that's if they're sober.
And that's if
they're sober, right?
Most of the time, although at Akron Haunted Schoolhouse and Lab, they did sell alcohol, which did not help things. But I'm not talking smack. I absolutely still love the Akron Haunted Schoolhouse and Lab. They're fantastic. Yes,
Cornerstones.
absolutely.
Yeah, Cornerstones in Ohio.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, no, it was such a privilege to get to do that. And it was something that kind of just fell into my lap. They knew my resume and they're like, "Oh, you," and I'm like,
So,
sure.
And so you have a couple of decades of experience, right?
Yeah.
And you find out, okay, so I'm not going to be actively participating, and you found yourself taking those skills, and those skills you used, almost immediately. And was there overlap between Cagey and the films?
No.
Or what, did you step out of there and then step into?
Yeah. So what happened was I had decided that I needed to retire from the haunt industry, and then maybe like a month or two later, that David Bachmeyer hit me up because I had done some work with him on some short films that he made called the Psycho Sessions, a series of 3 short films that are presented as trailers, but actually all 3 of them put together tell an overarching story about a detective. And it's very funny and very schlocky and very, perverted and very perverted, like that far away from, the line. Yeah. But then, so David hits me up and he tells me, he asked because I have a basement that we could use as a location. It was a really creepy basement, old stone with the big, huge blocks and painted seafoam green on the inside. And and we figured that would be a good place for the main villain of Cagey to have as his roost, as it were. So we had these things in the work. I had planned to do, production assistant stuff and that kind of thing. But then the actor that was going to play Mama Bird, the main villain of the film Cagey, ended up having to drop out. He was having some sort of household issues. So he said, I can't do it for now. So then David hit me up and he was like, well, so we kind of need a big guy to be in this role. And I was like, oh, well, I'll put some feelers out there, see if there's anybody who will bite. I know some big dudes that are good actors. And David said to me, he was just like, well, actually, me and Rowan were thinking you. To which I replied, well, I'd be honored. And so, and the rest on that is history. Working on Cagey was so much fun. And it really made me realize that making movies was kind of one thing that I always really wanted to be doing, but I'm not going to suck his dick too much here, but I've always looked up to Dave Greathouse, and I always thought to myself, you know what, Dave, if he can do that, there's got to be something I can do in that arena too. So, but I also got very lucky that I just so happened to know some people and I just so happened to meet some people. Yeah. And once again, just something really awesome fell into my lap just because I just, right place, right time. It means a lot. Who is it? Woody Allen that said 99% of success is showing up. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Just being around, things will happen for you.
And I believe, right, not only was it the right timing, but you had the right skill set.
That too. Right. That had a lot to do with it. I mean, obviously, like I wasn't just some guy. Like they knew what I was capable of.
Yeah.
And they knew that it was something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So like, and I gave it my absolute all. And let me tell you, it's really hard to act behind a mask where they can't see any of your facial expressions. So I end up going like way over the top with my arms and all of that. It was a lot of fun to shoot because they let me go. He let me go way up over the top. He let me go like Odorous Urungus from Guar up and over the top. And I just got to have a blast with it. I got to work with some really, really cool people. James Edwards, Lonnie, plays my brother in the film, whom I kill and then poop on. Rowan Richards plays our final girl, and she's fantastic. She's actually one of my personal heroes. I love Rowan so much. Don't get to see her enough because she moved further away, but but anytime we get the band back together, we have a great time.
Yeah.
Who else? Christian McMurray, who played my first victim in the film, Daniel Morris, who they were looking, who had a $2,000 reward on his head for anybody that could give him information. Christian McMurray is one of my best friends, and one of the only people that I know that I think is like just naturally funnier than I am. That guy just cracks me up all the time. So I got to work with some really cool, fun people, and I also got to work with a gentleman named Lyle Shelley, and that name will come back up in a little bit. But the filmmaking process, I'll say this about the filmmaking process, though. It is hard. It's a hard thing to do. It's a lot harder than you think it is, even if you're looking at it and every aspect of it and being like, oh, it doesn't seem that hard. Oh, no, it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. It's a lot of the stars have to align. It's a lot of we're changing this on the fly. It's a lot of you better memorize your lines. And that was actually kind of the biggest thing.
Well, I was going to say that, right? Yeah. Because we have, we're improv trained, right? Mm-hmm. And so let's say we have our own created history storyline, and then we go out and then the dialogue creates itself.
Yeah.
But you go from improv, makeup to mask and scripted.
Well, I had been using a mask for a while there when I was doing Akron Haunted Schoolhouse and Lab and Ghoul Brothers.
And that probably requires a different acting skill set because that's less face.
Yeah. Well, actually, the mask that I had chosen was a pump. I can't remember the name of the company for the life of me because they were really, really cool.
Oh.
I can't remember.
Was it a silicone mask?
But it was not. It was hard.
Okay.
Hard latex, probably about this thick.
Oh.
But it form fit to my face like a hockey mask or something. I don't know. I guess maybe like a. Kind of hard to describe. Basically, it was like armor that I put on my face. Gotcha. Like somebody could have slugged me real hard, and I barely would have felt it.
All right.
Just my neck would have hurt a little bit. But which also, the way I like to act in the haunt, I could use some facial protection.
I think a lot of folks and we'll explore this as well, right? And so, as a haunt actor, right? I mean, if we're in sets, if we're out in a queue line, with hundreds or thousands of customers, our acts are different. However, if we're successful haunt acting, very often we are eliciting fright.
Yeah.
Right. And then that could be a flight or
flight response,
right? And so if we are successful and we really, trigger that fright response, it's that flight or fight.
Yes. When I was teaching people, because one of the things about running an acting department is you have to teach people about safety.
Yep.
Safety comes first. Number one, not two, not three, not four. Number one and two, actually, both of those. We're talking about like lots of people here. Some of them might have criminal backgrounds. Some of them might be, just there to cause problems, which is every single night. There's one guy that shows up who's just like, oh, I'm going to go in there and punch somebody. And then they do. So that was the first thing that I had to teach people. You guys are, to steal some words from Jeff Beck, playing with fear. And you're literally eliciting the survival, fight, or flight response. And a lot of people come to a haunted house and they don't think about that, like, at all. They're like, oh, they are going to be eliciting my emergency escape response. Better reel that in a little bit. No, they don't. They're like, why did you scare me so bad? It's what you paid me to do, man. Like, it's like going to a hooker and getting mad that you got off. Like, what's the problem, bro? All right. All right. So, not that I've ever been to a hooker. Anyway, I don't have a problem with it.
I'm a friend, and my friend said,
yeah. But yeah, so I mean, so that's always like something that you had to explain to people, and like I would have a whole training course that would last like an entire afternoon of being like, hey, these are the things that we need to do. We need to be careful. I would take them through the haunt, be like, hey, this is, if you're in this set, this is where you want to be. Any closer, and you're putting yourself in danger. Like, and then I mean, it kind of helped a little bit during the COVID years because 6 feet, people learned to kind of keep their distance, and those were the most well-behaved crowds ever. And then the year the lockdown lifted, which was my last year as in charge of any acting department, that was my last year in haunting, they just cut loose, and they were just the worst stinkers. Like, man, I was kicking people out every night. Have to call the cops at least once a night. Like,
now, do they have touch pass out there? They were doing a touch pass?
No, they don't do it.
That opens up a whole different
really
reaction,
does.
right?
Yeah, that's a whole other thing, man. So
for those who don't know, right, a touch pass is typically a haunt might get an extra $5 or $10, put a glow stick around your neck, and it opens up the opportunity for the actors to get in, right?
Grab you and bend you over a rail, and if you let them.
but even without that, I mean, it was the bounce back, and I would say that Ohio certainly is, the audience expects more because there's been over the top acting for decades.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, like when you look at the saturation of the market out here, we have like, at my last check, we have like 111 haunted houses in Ohio. And those are just the ones that are showing up on the map. We're not even talking home haunts here.
More in Ohio than any other state. Yeah. And then because the haunts is really an American thing. There are haunts elsewhere. Yeah. But Ohio is the biggest concentration of haunts in the world.
In the entire world. So it's a good place to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a real good place to cut your teeth. You're going to meet a lot of people doing it.
And develop skills to move into film work and to grab the improv. Exactly. And I'm interested because we're going to explore how those skills that you achieved. Sure. And obviously, you're blessed with a sense of humor. We can pick that up even under the, I bet you that you had a lot of frightened people, that you were face to face with. But there is as many people who are like, that dude's twisted and kind of.
Yeah. Yep. And, and the one thing, if there's a guy, there's always that guy, you're not going to scare. Best thing you can do, make that dude laugh. Yeah. At least he's getting his money's worth, but it's all about reading your audience in the moment, and all of those years of training really translated over well into when I started doing comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Heckling is not a thing for me. You cannot heckle me. You can only become part of the show, and not the good part.
So for those who weren't with us from the very beginning, and understand that you can go ahead and put comments or questions into the chat. Josh and I are here, and we started off here in the Miller Art Studio. There's stuff everywhere. I figured it was a good place to start talking about haunt. We've had several interviews here. Typically artists. Ron George was here.
Oh yeah, no, he worked on Cagey.
Greg DeFibba, one of my mentors, inspirations, taught me how to face cast and run molds and all that crazy stuff. We started off in here. I think even the Tues 87 when we were demonstrating makeup, 9 years ago was in here as well.
That's wild. You've been running 9 years.
9 years, like 450 guests over 9 years. I mean, it's an incredible.
And I get to be one of them. I'm very happy about that.
And we appreciate you guys. But what we want to do is, remember, in the very bottom left-hand side of your screen, there's an arrow. If you share, we know it. And then next week, we're going to go ahead and draw a name. And if your name is drawn, then we're going to send you
a copy of The Present Age on the Death of Rebellion by Soren Kierkegaard,
which was an inspirational book for Josh.
Very much
and he's
so.
like, we got to read it and we got to pass it on. Yes. So I love that.
Yes. Well, I mean, like, I've kind of, if we talk about my like actual personal life for a second here at work. Okay. So I'm a butcher in real life. I work for a large retail chain, Union, go UFCW local 880. Um, I've basically started a book club where I work, and it's mostly like sci-fi and stuff like that. The last book that I finished was There Is No Anti-Memetics Division by a writer that goes by the name Quantum, QNTM, and it's based on the SCPs. If you've ever heard of those, the Secure, Contain, Protect. I guess they call them creepypastas. But basically, it's like a huge wiki of just like all these open source stories that people took this universe and like added their own stuff to it. It's huge. It's so cool. And this is a story that came from that, because the idea is like there's this organization that deals with these anomalous happenings and places and creatures and things like that. And the Anti-Mimetics Division is about trying to contain creatures that you can't remember, that they literally eat your memories. So how do you fight something you can't remember? And that's basically how that goes. And it's a very interesting book. I suggest everybody give that a read.
So book club at work.
Yes, book club.
So you got a bunch of union butchers and other people in.
Well, mostly other people from the people from other departments. Can't get the butchers to read very much, but mostly people from other departments like customer service, anything to distract those poor guys, man. Man, I'd have to be making twice what I'm making now to do their shit. Holy shit. Fuck that. But yeah, so then I'll like, when I finish a book, I'll go and pass it around and then we'll all have conversations about it. Welcome to the book club, whoever wins. Yeah.
Haunt, connection, right? The acting, the management, dealing with rowdy crowds, the improv, the filmmaking, Cagey. Bring us, so on that level, where is the film side of things right now? Are you working on something? And you said, if you weren't with us at the very beginning, Cagey is going to be a killer video.
Yes. Oh, yes. Cagey, once they finish with their expansion, which they just were approved for, Killer Video, Cagey will be available for rent and purchase at Killer Video in Akron, downtown Akron. So yes, I am currently working on a new film. And the exciting part about this one is that it is not going to be comedy or horror. This is my first foray into actual dramatic acting. It is a film. Remember that guy, Lyle Shelley, that I brought up earlier on? This is his baby. He's writing it. We all kind of have a part of it, but he's writing it. I'm in it. Tim Hale's going to be playing a character. And oh man, hold on. I have to look up this guy's name because I have not met this guy yet, but I am very excited to meet him. Give me just a moment.
As you're looking that up, again, we want to remind people to go ahead and share this video. If you weren't with us, we drew a name from last week's winner or last week's interview, and the winner was Rich Arbor. So, Rich, thank you for that. We just want to make sure that Matt and Kate and Rich are all on the same page there.
Nice.
But
good stuff. Okay. So I will be in this film with Tim Hale and also a great actor by the name of Jake Dressler. I have not met this guy yet, but we are going to be meeting up soon. He's also been doing like a lot of stuff like horror short movies or short films. Him and Lyle just wrapped one up not too long ago. So this film is very exciting for me in so much as it's going to be like a Tarantino-esque so it's going to be a heist gone wrong movie. Okay. Where I am playing a character who is a real scumbag. The idea is my uncle hooks me up with some information about these guys that we can go rob, because me and my friend both work shitty jobs and he needs to make some money because his daughter's sick or something like that. We haven't quite worked out all those details yet, but I suggest to him, I'm like, hey, I know these guys we can go rip off. We just need to get another guy and a driver and we can figure that out. And then there is a there will be a scene in there where we go to rob these guys, and Tim Hale's character is very much like a McLovin character. He's the guy that we weren't sure about, but we needed to move forward. So like he goes in there and he accidentally shoots one of the guys, and then one of the other guys shoots him. And I got to shoot that guy. and then we have like the kind of Reservoir Dog scene where he's like bleeding out and freaking out. And then we go to the smartest place in the world. We go back to my coworker's home where his wife and daughter are. And then things play out badly from there. I don't want to give away too much, but think in the vein of like Reservoir Dogs, but also if it was the Bonnie situation from Pulp Fiction, but if Bonnie and the child were already home. So it's a lot. This is just a lot of fun for me to think about, because like the thing that makes me the scumbag in all of this is that I tell them all that there's $500,000 that we're getting, but I know there's only two. So we're going to go in there, we're going to get this money, and the second I get the chance, I'm taking it, and I'm going to Barbados. And the audience is going to know this the whole time, that I'm a real bastard, and I can't wait for this role.
When are you starting to shoot that? If everything falls into place.
If everything falls into place, we're going to start
this year.
We're going to start shooting it next year.
Okay.
The plan is we're going to spend this year, which we've already been spending this year, in pre-production, casting, location finding, finalizing the script, putting together props, special effects. There's a lot of logistics that go into filmmaking. And we haven't even started like doing screen tests or costumes or anything like that. But like, we'll get there. We'll get there. So the idea is that we spend the first year. And this is the typical process for films that I've worked on anyway. The first year is all pre-production.
Now, the length of this film?
It'll be a feature-length film.
It's going to be a feature. So we're talking, I mean, this isn't a 48-hour film. You're not shooting I'd say 7-minute movie. Yeah, no, I'd say this is probably going to be an hour 10, hour 20 minutes long. Gotcha. Well, no wonder it's... You guys are,
Well, I mean, that's how it is for pretty much everybody else that I talk to, too. It's okay. So it's usually a 3-year process where you spend the first year in pre-production, like I said, gathering everything, putting everything together, finalizing things. And then you spend your second year shooting the film in actual production. And then, obviously, sometimes you got to go back and do reshoots or famously for Cagey, we had one actor play my brother, and then he ended up wasn't quite right for the role. Still a great actor, just not right for this. So we ended up having to reshoot all of that stuff. So I mean, these things happen, and that's why you take a whole year for all of these phases, so that so you have the time. Because if you rush something, it's
you'll miss something. If you rush it, you'll miss something.
If you rush something, you'll put out something that's always going to be bad. Whereas if you take your time and you do it right, you'll put out something that's always going to be good. So, and I believe in taking your time, I'm not in any rush to get this out.
If somebody in the audience is like, I'm kind of interested in learning more about film, or maybe being part of a team, where would you suggest they start? Do they join Facebook groups? I mean,
you could. So for me, it was a matter of people that people that I knew, people that I had met. Yeah. I just so happened to know the right people, be in the right place, and they asked me if I wanted to do a thing, and I said, absolutely, let's do the thing. So when it comes to just trying to muscle your way in there, I hell yeah. But all I got into me.
And what I would say is some of the feedback we've gotten from other filmmakers and actors, etc., is just put yourself in a place where there's other people who are doing films, whatever that means, right?
Any creative
creative space.
Any creative space. For me, it was the haunt industry for the longest time. I was just happy being around other creatives. Yeah. I would get jealous when other creatives were doing things that I wanted to be doing, but I didn't quite know how. And then this falls in my lap, and I'm like, sweet, I get to do the thing finally. And
listen, if you want to join Tues 87, if you jump in the Tues 87 Facebook group, there's a lot of opportunity there as well. You know, to learn effects, to jump in, to participate in a 48-hour or 21 Days of Horror. There's a lot of haunt opportunity.
The main thing that I could tell you is that if you want to do something, you have to go do it. No one else is going to do it for you. You have to figure it out on your own, especially out here in Northeast Ohio. You know, like if it, you know, it's not going to come to you. You got to go chase it down. Now, like I said, these things might have fallen in my lap, but I put myself in a position where they might. You know, it's not going to happen to you if you're sitting in your basement. It's not going to happen if you're just, you know, hanging out in your backyard every night, kicking back beers. It's never going to happen. You gotta put yourself out there. You got to put yourself in uncomfortable places sometimes. Not necessarily places you don't want to be. Just, you got to go out of your comfort zone from time to time and maybe find out if there's something that that you don't know. Maybe there's somebody, you never know. You could open a door and bam, there's your opportunity right there. Happens all the time, you know? To me anyway, I guess.
I mean, listen,
that's me anyway.
Yeah, and that's what matters, because this is your story and your journey. This is what worked for you.
Yeah.
And it might work for folks here.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so. I mean, like, cause, you know, going more into the comedy, just swerving into the comedy side of things right now. It's like starting all over again, but except with all of the knowledge that I had from my previous loop. So, you know, so I know that if I want to be more successful, I want to get myself out there more, I have to show up to places and I have to meet people and I have to shake the hands and I have to say, hey, let's do these things together. And then we do the things together.
Yeah.
You know?
Is it time to transition into the comedy talk?
I think.
Have we missed anything in terms? Listen,
No,
I know we could probably just run for 5 hours and just record a show talking.
That's true. We could go into anecdotes from back in the day. But I think I'm ready to transition.
All right. Well, let's walk into now. This is the. All right. This is the space that I'm going to actually follow you in.
Sure.
We are in the studio, and we're actually moving over here. Look at that seal work. This is where we did the open mic.
Seal? Nice.
So where we did the open mic, and I'm going to just adjust this real quick, and I want to talk a little bit about comedy.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So comedy, right? So if we cut our teeth on, let's say, improving with audiences, and then you're kind of doing that too. I mean, you says I retired, and I believe that, but you're improving with audiences in a different way.
Yes, right, very much so. Where, but it's more of like a level of crowd control.
Okay.
Of like, okay, look, this is my show, not yours. All right. Whereas in the haunt industry, it's like, okay, they paid, they want to play around, they're supposed to be able to get a little bit, you know, mouthy with you or whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you're going to sit down, you're going to fuck up, and you're going to listen to me. All right. I'm only up here for 5 minutes. Shut up. Like, you know?
I looked up, and if you were with us from the very beginning, I just looked up just out of pure curiosity. The core role of a comedian is to connect with audiences and provoke thoughts through humor, wit, and keen observation.
See, now it's going to be hard for me to do the connect with the audience bit because, or right now anyway.
Audience of one?
I got
right now, but you got a digital audience. It's going to be thousands.
That's true, but they're not clapping and all of that. Oh, yeah. That's fine.
That's an important thing.
Yes.
Is you're used to breaking the fourth wall and engaging with an audience, and now we're here in a basement.
Yeah, exactly. So if you would like to see not a dry run, here's announcement number 2.
Yeah.
Announcement number 2. I will be hosting the very next open mic for comedy specifically at the Rialto Theater on 1000 Kenmore Boulevard in Akron, Ohio.
Oh.
The Rialto Theater is a fantastic place. A lot of really funny people coming in. And that'll be next Wednesday, the 17th. Show starts at 8. If you'd like to come and sign up, I'll be there around 7.
or DM you and
Yes.
here on Facebook, and we'll get you the details.
That too.
And get you on there.
No cover charge, in case you were wondering. You just wanted to come check it out. They got good food, good drinks, reasonably priced. Personally, I'm a fan of their flatbreads. Also, all comedians have musical accompaniment.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, it's very nice. We actually like pay a musician to hang out on stage with you and make you look cool. Like, so
you're gonna do the dumb,
they'll play you on, they'll play you off.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's nice because, I hate going up on a stage dry. Just they clap for the last person, and now you're up, and you got. Hi, everybody. Yeah, no, that's so boring, dude. Yeah, I'd rather have somebody play. I don't even care what they're playing. They can be playing Country Roads. I don't care, man. It's something. Give me something to break the silence, bro.
So Hunt acting, right? Hunt acting, Cagey, animation. Were you just naturally animated,
yes.
or did you learn that along the way? Or
no, I've always been kind of a spastic, twitchy kid, the Haunt was really just a great outlet for a lot of all that.
Yeah.
Let me just pour ideas out. Some were good, some were terrible, some were fantastic, and followed me around forever. There's several characters that I wish to God I could go to a haunt and just do again, but I can't. I just can't do it. Not that I don't want to. It's just I can't take the risk. I can't ride roller coasters anymore either.
You just have to close that chapter and move on to the next.
Do something else. Like comedy and making movies.
What comedians? Let me share a couple of them.
Sure.
I'll respond with a couple that I watch. What are a couple of comedians you're like, man, these gals or these guys are so freaking funny. Man, they inspire me.
All right, so I've been a big fan of comedy, and I've been absorbing it and studying it since I was a very young kid. We had cable. I had Comedy Central as a kid, so I was at a very early age. I was exposed to Carlin, and fucking Eddie Murphy. Bobcat Goldthwait,
classics.
Oh yeah. Like Jim Brewer, Colin Quinn, all the SNL guys. I was a big fan of for the longest time. Louis C.K. He might be a controversial figure, but he is one of the funniest people in the world. So I got to hand it to him there. Doug Stanhope. Doug Stanhope is my all-time, hands-down favorite comedian. He just seems like a guy that if I met him, we would hit it off, and we both end up in the loony bin within a couple hours. Let's see.
You know who I find terribly funny? I'm not Italian. And it's his older stuff, Sebastian Maniscalco.
Oh yeah,
he's funny. He is really animated.
Yeah, he's a guy I've watched his stuff before. Somebody that I feel like his material is a little bit too safe.
Yeah.
I'm not, in my opinion, there's two kinds of comedians, really. Yeah. There's your dive bar comedian and there's your coffee shop comedian. I am the latter, or I'm the former rather than the latter. I feel like Sebastian's more of a coffee shop comedian. Not yucking your yum. Because he is a funny guy and obviously very successful, man. He's got more comedy specials than I do.
So Matt Rife. Right?
Matt Rife.
Yeah. Do you know that dude? Improv. He is, sells out large audiences, but complete improv.
I know the name. I can't say I've ever watched it.
Yeah, but I think a good deal of his comedy is, engaging the audience and then just off the cuff.
Oh yeah.
But
engaging the audience it's I don't know. There's several different ways that you can do it.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways that you can do comedy, set up your routines, set up your jokes, and some people just like to tell stories. Some people are friggin' prop comedians.
Yeah.
The lowest form of the lowest art form, just for the record.
So, right? Now, tell us about the very first time.
Oh my!
Because so now you're funny anyways. You're freaking funny. You're animated.
I know.
But there's still the first time you get up behind a mic up on stage and you start to lean in. Tell us about the first time.
Okay, so the very first time that I did stand up at an open mic was at a It was at a bar called Eminem's Tap House. They just closed recently. Excuse me. They just closed recently, but they did have an open mic, and they would allow me to go up there and tell my silly jokes.
Yeah.
The problem was that they were kind of more family friendly for a bar. Maybe why they aren't in business anymore. But anyways, I love them. Mike, Michelle, if you guys are watching, I love you guys. If you think, because they gave me the opportunity to have a start.
Yeah, yeah.
And Mike and Sean, if you guys are out there watching, oh my God, some of my greatest supporters. So Mike runs an open mic. He runs one now at the Corner Bar on the second Tuesday of every month. Mostly musicians, every once in a while a comedian.
Yeah.
So Mike, I walked up to him on my first day, and I go in there and I says to him, "Hey, you doing an open mic tonight?" He's like, "Yep. What do you play?" And I'm like, "I'm a comedian." And he just looks at me. He's like, "I've been waiting for a comedian for 6 years." And I'm like, "Well, I'm your man." Now there I go. Okay, so now I'm like, well, shit. Now I got to do it.
Yeah, now
I'm trying to write and seeing what works, and like maybe I can get it. So here's the thing: for anybody out there who's thinking about going and doing stand up at an open mic, absolutely go do it. Go do it. But keep this in mind, okay? Your first time, they are always going to laugh because they want you to feel comfortable. Okay, they're like, "Oh, look at him! He's doing it for the first time. Come on, you can't shit on him. You got to encourage this." Your second time up, you're gonna think you're so cool, and you are gonna fucking bomb, dude. And that's your first lesson. That right there is your first lesson. You're gonna bomb sometimes.
That's an important one to learn.
Just gonna happen.
Yeah.
Not necessarily always your fault. You know, sometimes it is. Maybe sometimes maybe you had a bad show. Maybe you got too drunk. Maybe your material just didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, but most of the time, it's just you didn't have the right crowd. Because I've done sets in one room, nothing.
Right material, right crowd.
Yes,
right? And
exactly.
so you had the right material, wrong crowd, or wrong material, right crowd. And either way, I mean, it just has to be right.
You know, so like I remember doing, a set one night that killed, and then I go do it at a different place. Same set, different place. Nothing. So, these things just happen, and you got to have a thicker skin. You can't take it personally. It's a lot of picking yourself up and dusting yourself back off and being like, well, next time I'll do it better. And through okay, so back to the original. So that first time, I can't even tell you what jokes I told. I'm pretty sure that everything that I had talked about in that first set, I just threw right in the garbage, because I'll break down my writing. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do, to write jokes. But I mean, constantly I'll have so I've got this recorder here that I always keep on me.
All right.
That has been on all day and is now dead. Sometimes I'll just accidentally record an entire day of my life, and I don't delete it. I'm just going to throw this thing in a shoebox and give it to my nephew, and at some point and be like, "Hey, look, I lived a life." But my pockets will be constantly just full of pieces of paper and tags that I just write down, just scraps of ideas. Look at this. Look at this. And then I got to take these scraps of ideas, and I actually take them and I write them into Amish IT. It's a real thing. Did you know that? Did you know that?
What is Amish IT? Coming from a man who's married to Elizabeth Miller. There is something about putting on the comedy filter, because you're extracting things that you could work in.
Exactly.
Right?
So I have a funny thought, and so I have a brain that is constantly chattering at itself. Mm-hmm. I don't know about you guys out there, but I got a couple floating around up in here. So it's constantly talking. Every once in a while, I'll just start. My brain will say something to me that makes me laugh. And if it made me laugh, I'm writing it down because it's probably going to make you laugh. So but just to show you, so I'll take all these little scraps and I'll go through my recorder and then I'll actually sit down and I'll write. And this is what 5 minutes of material looks like.
Got it.
That's 5 minutes right there. 5 pages, 5 minutes.
And that's probably not terribly different than script writing.
Exactly.
About a page for a minute, right?
Pretty much. Now,
so you're writing a comedy script, essentially, right?
Yes. And then I have to then remember and perform and then roll with the punches when people interrupt me or they want to participate.
Oh.
I make sure that I work in some crowd participation, some things that I can make the crowd feel involved so I don't have to pick on people. Although I'll tell you one of my favorite ones. All right, so I do this bit about how I love fat chicks. I do. I love fat chicks. They're like my favorite. But like when I'm doing this, when I begin this bit, I'll look for in the crowd. I'll look for a guy that's with a lady, right? Like they're obviously out on a date or something. I'm like, how about you? You into fat chicks? And he better say no. He better say no. The answer for him had better be no. I have watched.
That's a loaded question.
Oh yeah, no, I have seen dudes just get smacked for. I'm like, ha! You chose poorly. You chose. So yeah, no, these are the types of things that I do for crowd interaction. Like, hey, what do you think I have in my pocket? Oh, it's a little Jesus. You didn't think I had that, did you? I know. I talk a lot of profanity in this. Yeah, I'm definitely a Christian though, huh? Like, you didn't think so, did you? Or like another one that is one of my favorites is, okay, so I'm a butcher, but I love animals, right? And, I love going to the zoo, but every time I go to the zoo, I can't help but think to myself, man, how would I even start on that giraffe? Holy crap, dude, that's a lot of meat. I wonder how thick it is. How sharp would the knife have to be? Man, I'd probably have to get like a big old saw, wouldn't I? But then I bring it back down. I'm like, I love animals though. So like, it's hard to reconcile. But like, if I could take an animal from the zoo and miniaturize it and make it a pet, and then I'll stop and be like, actually, if you guys could take an animal from the zoo and shrink it down into a pet size, what would it be? And then I usually give like 3 or 4 people the opportunity to give me their answer, and I'll riff on that for a minute.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll get a good one where I can just be like, are you fucking serious? Like, I remember I had this one guy, like, you, sir. And he's just like, I don't want an elephant. And I said, why did you do this when you said elephant? Why did you? Don't give that guy an elephant. So yeah, I always try to work that in there. And it comes naturally most of the time. Yeah. Like, there's always people that want to be involved. You can tell when somebody wants you to pick on them. Somebody wants to. There's a difference between participation, like healthy, what's the word for it? Cooperative.
Yeah.
And then just being an asshole heckler. There's a whole difference there, man. Hecklers ruin shit. Participation only helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely about connecting with the audience. 100%. And in connecting with the audience for me anyway, in a positive way. I want people to feel better when they leave, and I want them to feel happy. I don't want them to feel mad at me when the show's over, Like, I'll say some controversial stuff. Maybe things are a little bit perverted, but I'm never going to like cross a line with you, But a lot of guys will go out there and they'll actually cross a line, and it's like, you're not doing comedy. To me anyway, it's like, you're not doing comedy. You're just being a dick, like. There's no art. But the difference between that and like haunt acting is like, I am absolutely there to be a dick. I am there to fuck your day up, man. So it's a very different kind of energy. Instead of like going in and being aggressively entertaining, I'm going in and I'm being entertaining first, and then aggressive if I have to. I'd rather not. I'd rather be a nice, smooth, happy, fun show.
So if we're successful as haunt actors, right, and we elicit fear, right, we elicit perhaps the fight or flight reaction. If you are on spot, right, and you're up on stage, right, and you're an audience, what is your hope? Like, what happens with the audience?
So instead of fear,
and listen, I understand that that the easy answer is laugh, but it's more than that.
No, there's much more to that.
Yeah.
First off, I want them to get me. Like, I want them to get where I'm coming from.
Okay,
which is not something that you need haunt audience.
Right.
They don't need to know your backstory.
Yeah.
They don't need to know anything about you. All they need to know is that they need to fucking run.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they need to know.
Yeah.
Whereas like, yeah, with comedy, it's like, it gives me a whole lot more time to like really connect with people, really like explain my ideas and see if they feel the same way, you know? Or actually a lot of it is like, hey, this is how I feel about something. I'm just presenting it in a funny way. If you guys feel the same, you're going to laugh about it or participate with me in some way, which is a whole lot more of a connection. And then after I get off stage, I'll go and talk to these people they'll come and talk to me and they'll have things to say and I'll have things to say back to them. So that's, it's more of a connection of like, it's more of an exchange of ideas and also energy because you have to have the energy transfer. Without energy transfer, none of it works.
Social commentary, right? And I mean, that's essentially what you are. I mean, you're a public social commentator using, comedy as a way to build bridges. And sometimes, I mean, perhaps to not build bridges too, because sometimes you're like, listen, that audience doesn't connect with me. And that doesn't mean that I change my comedy.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm delivering the message.
For the most part, I mean, like, I found that politics is the fastest way to divide a room. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to do that, tread lightly, know your audience. As a matter of fact, there were political jokes that I wanted to do tonight that I decided I'm not going to. If you want to hear them, come see me at the Rialto next Wednesday.
So I throw a couple of jokes, and listen, I know it's completely an unfair ask.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm here to show off
because right, it's me and a digital audience, right? And I think that I think the comedy really requires it. And I think
I rehearsed to my dog. It's fine.
Yeah. But what's interesting is I think COVID was that because you had these stellar comedians getting up in front of a camera, and it didn't work.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't work in front of a camera. Like, you need an audience.
Not the same.
Not the same.
But I'm more or less doing this just to kind of give you guys a taste. Like, I'm not just bullshitting that I'm like, I actually do this for a living. Well, not for a living. Not yet. That'd be nice.
That'd be cool.
If I could make more money doing this than I do as a butcher, oh my God, that would be fantastic. It's my dream to travel and like do my own stuff. And produce my own things. I'll get to that in a moment.
All right, let's go.
So let's start off. Let's get started.
So you're a butcher, right?
Yes, I am a butcher. And I'm glad that you said so. I'm a butcher, and my best friend. Let me tell you about my best friend. Okay. My best friend is a vegetarian.
Oh,
I know, right? Isn't that weird? It's kind of like if you were like a white supremacist and your best friend was a black dude, like
you're like, how does this work?
Yeah, it's definitely an odd couple kind of situation, man. So I had him over yesterday. Okay. It was National Best Friends Day yesterday, as a matter of fact. If you didn't know that, you suck at being a friend. So, so he came over yesterday though. He brought his kid, cool kid, and what I did, being a butcher and also a former cook for many years, I love to grill. Doesn't matter what I'm grilling. Just give it to me. Let me grill it. I got a nice char griller that I actually won in a raffle for like $10. Yeah, dude. So there we are. And I'm just grilling up this whole big plate of meat that he's not going to eat, like at all. I'm like, look at that. Isn't that tasty? I grilled up like firecracker brats that were barbecued and barbecued beef bacon. And he's just not going to eat any of it. Yeah. And it's not that he has a problem with animals or anything, like eating animals. That's not it. He just like literally has the diet and the bedtime of a 5-year-old kid. Like that's just the way he is. Yeah. It's one of the things that I like about him. Right. So like, him being a vegetarian always throws me through a loop because it's like, well, what the fuck can I grill for this guy? I end up grilling some garlic bread. Oh, which I burned because
because it finishes faster than meat.
Exactly. I always burn it. So he's my best friend. Despite the fact that he's a vegetarian, I know. I treat it like it's a disability. It's not. It's not. I totally respect your choices out there if you're a vegetarian. I get it. It took me a long time to come to terms with what I do for a living as well. As a matter of fact, I remember Billie Eilish came out not too long ago and said, you can't love animals and eat them too. And I said, sweet, thanks. that lady that made one song like 6 years ago disagrees with me. I don't care. You're nothing but pixels to me. Anyways, so yeah, okay. So my best friend's a vegetarian, and like I'll go over to his place and I'll grill at his place too. I'm like, like for Memorial Day, I went over to his place to grill.
Get all that meat juice all over his soy.
Yeah. Well, I actually use his grill. He doesn't actually grill anything because once again, he's not even a vegetarian, dude. He eats like apples and nuts and French fries, and that's it. Those are the only things that he'll eat, dude. So
I heard somebody that somebody makes a mean nut roast. Somebody making serve him a good nut roast.
I told him, I was like, hey man, I got some cashews. When you want me to throw those on the grill? He's like, so I go over to his place and I'll grill on his grill. For Memorial Day, actually, I took some steaks over there. I always try to give the gift of meat. I would have brought some over today, but I don't get paid till tomorrow. And unfortunately, it's Tuesday. So I go over there and I bring some relatively inexpensive steaks over. They're called my personal favorites, top sirloin strip steaks. They're like $9.99 to $11.99 a pound, depending on where you go. Details aside, I take these steaks over. I set them out. I'm letting them warm up because you don't want to go like from cold to hot. Otherwise, you're not going to get that nice crust. It's not going to cook all the way evenly through. It's going to be hot on the outside, raw on the inside, all of that, blah, blah, blah. I'm letting them sit out. And I'm outside. I'm setting up the grill. I send him in to grab the steaks. I had brought 3 steaks. He brings out 2. I'm like, where's the third one? Where did the third steak go? He's like, there was a third steak? I'm like, there was. And I know you didn't eat it. So where'd it go? Now, naturally, he has 2 dogs. And one of them's kind of rowdy. So naturally, we assumed that one of the dogs had taken the steak. But as the day went on, we found that it was actually one of his fucking cats that stole the steak. One of his cats stole it and dragged it into the litter box where it knew that the dogs weren't going to get it. Anyhow, yeah, I know that story just kept getting more fascinating as the day went on. I was like,
I have never heard of a cat eating steak.
I know.
I mean, if it was like a piece of tuna, that'd be
a totally other thing.
Steak.
Just and took the whole damn thing with it. Like I couldn't believe it. I was like, damn, that is really heavy for a cat that size to carry. But so anyhow, lemons into lemonade. We take that, and they were like, "Oh man, we're so sorry. Our cat literally dragged your steak into its shit box. I won't have one." And I'm like, "Nonsense, because that's me. I know. If I'm having steak, everybody's having steak. Fuck it, we're doing that." They just so happen to have like peppers and onions and skewers, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. We're making kebabs now. How about that? But I like to go over there and hang out quite frequently. She actually cooks for me, which is great because Nikki's a great cook. I love her very much, but the kitchen's mine. Right? Let me do the kitchen stuff. Yeah, I know, right? I'm calling her out right now.
She's watching.
Anyways, so I like to go over there quite frequently, and but I'm also okay. So one of our main bonding points is that we're both stoners. All right, have been almost my entire life. I've been smoking since I was like 14 years old, 14, 15, somewhere around there. Which, by the way, never got caught. Never got caught once. Nope, never got caught once. Never got caught by a teacher. Never got caught by the cops. Never got caught by anybody else's parents. I got caught by my parents, but they were also stoners, so they would just steal my weed. But anyhow, I didn't get caught by any authority figure that mattered. And then it became legal, which means I win. I win. Anyway. So I go over to his place for 420, and we're hanging out, and we're doing 420 activity. We're watching Cheech and Chong and smoking, playing with Legos and shit, and then it comes up to the point where where I ask him, I remember that he actually grows his own.
Oh,
and I'm like, oh. Well, how are the plants doing? And he's like, would you like to harvest one? And I'm like, that's all I've ever wanted. That's all I've ever wanted on 420. That's so cool. So I felt like, so there we are. We're trimming it. I feel like we're in High Times magazine, it was so cool. And then, so I'm like, you know what I'm going to do though? You know what I'm going to do? Since we're going to get so stoned on 420, I'm going to take my recorder here and I'm going to set it down over there. And we're going to, every time something funny happens, I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to record that so that I can have a whole set for the next time.
The 420 set.
And then totally forgot to turn it on the whole time because duh. But I did catch one thing. What if the reason why ghost hunters never catch any ghosts is because they're doing it at night when the ghosts are asleep? What if ghosts have day jobs, man? Like maybe try and catch them on their lunch break or something. I feel like that might actually work. So that was the only other thing that I caught. And
that's good.
Yeah, I know. One good one. One good one. I know. One piece of gold. One nugget. It was good. Later, so we're sitting there. We're trimming the tree.
Yeah.
And he starts talking about like how his dad used to.
You're not talking about Christmas time.
No. I'm talking about trimming weed.
Okay,
weed trees.
got weed tree.
And so he starts talking about how his dad used to grow, and I had met his dad a few times, and he was like a really waspy kind of guy. He never seemed the type of guy that would grow his own weed. I would have never fucking figured. So I told him, I was like, hey man, I'd never pegged your dad as a stoner. Or at least that's what I meant to say. What I said, because I was absolutely ridiculously ripped at this point, was, hey man, I never pegged your dad. And he was like, thanks, I guess.
Should I thank you for that?
I know, right? I mean, that's what best friends do. They don't peg their dad, their friend's dad. They just don't do it. No matter how much they want you to, you got to go, that's my friend. We don't do that. At work, I just want to give you guys a little example. Like, this is a brand new one from today. This happened today. Okay, so I'm at work and I got to deal with some of the dumbest people on the planet every once in a while. Not talking about my coworkers. I'm talking about the denizens of Barberton, Ohio. And I lived there for 10 years. I'm allowed to talk shit. Okay, fucking. So I get this lady. I mean, I often have like some of the just craziest customers in the world come up to me and just say all kinds of off the wall shit. But this one happened fresh today. This lady comes up with a box of frozen burgers that says gluten free on it, and she says to me in a very stupid voice, she says to me, where does the gluten go? Where do they take the gluten out of it? What did they do to make the gluten go away? And I said, lady, that is beef. There was never any gluten in there. And then she says, but in the bread, when they do bread, it's gluten free. They take something out of the bread, and how do they do that? I'm like, lady, I'm a butcher, not a baker. You're gonna have to ask them. But that is all beef and always. But then they took something out of it. I'm like, ma'am, no, they did. Okay, and every once in a while, you just got to be like, out, goodbye, goodbye. You're too dumb to help. I'm sorry. I cannot waste my time or energy on this anymore. Good luck. But I got.
But it says gluten free. So you have to walk the idiots down the.
Exactly. Oh my Lord. Yeah. Because I mean, they just put gluten free on literally anything that doesn't have gluten. That like bananas, gluten free bananas, gluten free guacamole. You know, I mean, like I get it when they put it on crackers and bread, but when you put it on beef, dude, you're kind of reaching, bro. Like, that
was just today.
Yeah, that was just today. Just today. I wish you guys could be a fly on the wall for a whole day, man. Like, you'll be like, oh my God. I would put the literacy rate of our customers at about 50%.
Wow.
They can't read. When I do have to write a sign, I write a big sign with small words. Beef out. None left. And they still have questions. They'll still come ask me, what does that mean? All right. I guess I'll wrap up with this one.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a new one too. I recently found out about these ticks that when they bite you, they make it so that you can't eat meat anymore. Have you ever heard of these?
I haven't heard of that.
Oh, wow. No, seriously? Okay. Yeah, no, it's pretty terrifying. All right. It's not like Lyme disease, which is another thing that you can get from ticks.
Right.
It's kind of in the same vein, but it does a completely different thing.
Oh.
You get bit by this tick. It's like a little red tick that has like a white spot in its back. And if you get bit by this thing, it changes your genetics so that you can no longer ingest meat. If you do, you get like a highly allergic reaction.
Did your buddy have that? Did he get bit by a tick?
No. He just has the diet of a baby.
I didn't know that.
He knows I'm talking. See? He knows I'm talking about him today. Yeah. I told him today I was going to talk about him. So anyhow, I love hiking, man. It's my second favorite thing to do, other than like standing up here and talking to you guys. And I realized though that like, man, if I get bit by one of those ticks as a butcher, I'm kind of fucked, man. Like, A, I love eating meat. B, then I would have to like cover myself head to toe to not come into contact with it. Because no matter what, it's going to get in my eye. It's going to get under my fingernails.
You're like a beekeeper.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, basically. But like, so it's like, what would happen then? Then I'd have to become a full-time stand-up comedian. Who the fuck has time? There's no money in that shit. Anyhow, that's enough for me. That's good.
Oh, man.
Thank you guys for indulging me.
This coming Wednesday. So a couple things as we're wrapping up, right?
Sure.
Share away, because if your name is drawn next week, if you share, put your name in the raffle, and if you are chosen, and then you get the book, the Kierkegaard book. Next Wednesday, the stand-up, we're going to go ahead and, after we record this, right, you'll be able to get back to it, but we'll put a couple links down there as well, so you guys can go and drink on a Wednesday night.
Yes.
Check out the stand-up comedy, and if you are perhaps courageous enough to step behind a mic, then message.
Shoot me a message. We typically so we sign up start at 7. And then we will go as long as we have people willing to perform.
Yeah.
It could be 1 hour, it could be 2 hours, it could be 3 hours, depends, as long as there's still good quality entertainment going up there. Yeah. Now, we're not asking you to be the best ever, but what I will tell you is that if you do want to do stand-up, you should come to this open mic, because you're going to not just meet other comedians and people that are just getting into it or people that have been doing it for a while, but you're also going to meet people that are professionals that are on the road doing this stuff, and they're just stopping at this open mic to keep doing, because it's like an addiction for a lot of people. Yeah. It is like an addiction, especially after you have a real good show. Ooh, you could ride that adrenaline for the next week and a half, man. So you're going to be meeting people that are more experienced than you, people that are very cool. I have not met a comedian yet that was like just an absolute asshole. Like, fuck you. I'm not talking to you. I'm a big old comedian and you suck and you're no, everybody's been super accepting. Yeah. The Akron comedy scene, I'm not going to say is booming, but it's going through a big change right now.
Cool.
So the Funny Stop, which was like the cornerstone of the Akron comedy scene. Many traveling acts, many big acts have come through there. It's a legendary place. They've launched lots of careers. That place is closed now. So now there's all these other open mics and these other spots and these other clubs that are opening up. Like, for example, I did the Killbox not too long ago, which is on East Talmadge in Akron, and they just opened up. And that was one of the weirdest open mics that I ever did, because it was all comics and like 2 or 3 regular audience members, but everybody else there was fucking performing. So like, and we're talking about like everybody from brand new, this is their first time, to this guy is like a 20-year veteran and he's traveling around. And so like it's very cool. Although I'll tell you this, man, the biggest difference between a regular audience and just a comic audience is that the comics, they are going to laugh at your stuff, but you really need to nail that shit. Like they're looking for the technicals. They're looking for like making sure that you put it together right. You delivered it right. You did it with the right timing and all of that stuff. Those are the kinds of things that they're looking at. And I'm getting better at it. Because I've only been doing like the actual like going out and not doing bars and actually doing like comedy club stuff for 3/4 of a year at this point.
Oh, okay.
So like, yeah, so it's a whole different thing when you're not just doing dive bars and stuff in your local community, when you're actually like getting out there into the actual community and the scene. The game changes. Yeah. But it's good to have those chops leading up to it, you know?
Well, if you are a budding haunt enthusiast or interest, surround yourself with haunters. If you're interested in filmmaking, surround yourself with filmmakers. And if you're interested in being part of the comedy community, and then connect with Josh and in the local comedy scene.
I would be more than happy to.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. One last thing.
Yes. One
last thing I'd like to share. Okay. This is the really big announcement. Okay. So the really big announcement, in addition to the fact that I'm running this open mic, and in addition to the fact that I had this movie coming out in the next couple of years, the biggest thing is that I've been talking to the owners of the Rialto Theater. And I had mentioned to them that if I was ever going to shoot a comedy special, I was going to shoot it there. Oh. And the second that I had mentioned that, Seth, one of the owners, if not the owner, had shot right back at me. I would absolutely love that. Gave me a quote on how much that would cost, which is very reasonable, and what types of logistics that would take. And, long story short, suffice it to say, I will be shooting my own comedy special at the Rialto within the year. That's the goal, is within the year. I mean, I've got the friends, I've got the resources, they have the equipment, I have the material, I've got the venue, I've got the audience. I just got to put it all together, and I'm going to have help. I don't have to do everything by myself, which is so nice. But the reason why I bring this up, not just seamless self-promotion, is that if this is something that you want to do, you can do it. And you don't need anybody else to tell you whether you can do it or not. Okay? You don't need some big company to come in. You don't need an agent to come in and tell you. You don't need to be recognized. If this is something that you want to do, you can just do it on your own. You know, granted, you need to know the people and you need to know what you're doing, but you can do it. You know, it takes the work, the elbow grease, and you gotta know how to talk to people.
Yeah. Well, there are hearts everywhere popping up here on the screen live. Oh, yeah. And the cool part is, in addition to sharing, here's your opportunity to tag a comedian or somebody who's like, oh, they'd be perfect, for launching a,
Oh yeah, no, please do. Right? The communities are about coming together, and what we're doing over at the Rialto right now is we're building our own community over there. Yeah. And I mean, which is part of the larger community. It's not like we're going to be some like secluded clique. Like, no, bring it in, man. Yeah. Everybody get over here. Let's do the thing, so. Yeah, thanks for having me. This has been really cool.
We'll keep an eye on you, and we'll check in the comments. We'll post the information on this comedy opportunity next Wednesday.
Thank you guys so much for having us.
Catch you later.